Hi guys. So we are in the end of the quarter of transformation, the last week of this very intensive quarter, and it's very beautiful to see how the new yearly cycle began, but still we are in ending. It's like the end and the beginning are still walking side by side until the end of this week. So this is a very strong energy of fuel to finish and fuel to begin together. Very, very interesting. And we are having these two interesting gates in the sun and the earth, two ways out of the four ways, the way of approach, and the way of retreat. And it's very interesting to see how they both work together, even though they are so different from one another. We can see this in every opposition in the wheel. They are so different from one another, and on the other hand, something very primal connects them together. The energies, it's like the yin and the yang, all the time the yin and the yang. There is a piece of this gate in the other gate, and vice versa. So let's look at this gate of approach, the gate of wanting. Such an interesting fuel. It's a root gate, it's a tribal Woodgate approach. That all things are interrelated is apparent and manifested through the action of approach. And this fuel is, of course, I have very strong personal connection with this, because I have the rest of the sensitivity stream a part of the 19th, and actually I also have almost the whole of the mystical way. I just need this gate of need and the 20th. So everything in between I have in my design. So people with the 19th are very important in my life, and I have a few of them. And the 19th is actually the fuel for all the basic tribal needs. We are talking about the stream of sensitivity. It's the stream of touch. It's about relationships, a marriage, belonging to the community. And this 19th gate is the gate of wanting, the gate of need, and everything that it needs is very, very basic. We are talking about food, we are talking about resources, all kinds of resources. With physical resources, we are talking about sex, food, shelter, territory. It's a very, very territorial gate and territorial stream. And of course, this is the root of the need to be touched by God, to have this spiritual, this tribal spiritual aspect in our lives, because the tribe doesn't only need the physical things, it needs also the spiritual things in the way that it needs. And we know that this channel, the channel of synthesis, the design of sensitivity, this channel of the bride and groom is going to go through mutation. So I think that what I see in my life, because this is about personal and romantic or intimate relationship, the word is intimate relationship, we see the mutation and the changes that are happening, that will happen in this channel, that actually happened now in the approach to our personal and intimate relationships. The 19th gate is approaching, is looking for the correct partner, that together they would meet one another's, they would meet their correct emotional principles that can build this relationship into a fair and balanced bargain, when both sides are sensitive to the other one's needs and to oneself's needs. And this is very, very beautiful to see. And I have the honor in my life to meet some people that begin slowly but surely to show the change in relationships. These are basically young people or people that are very deep in the experiment and understand that relationships can't go back to the homogenized way, not self way that they were. And for that, and I'm also going through this, for that we need the gate of need. We need to allow every belief and homogenized patterns that we have about relationship to collapse. And this is a very, very difficult and intensive task, but we need to do this. The 19th gate is also about our connections with mammals, and this is also going through a very deep transformation. We slowly but surely will stop eating mammals, and also the friendly connection will change. Ra used to say that he's very happy that it wouldn't happen in his time because he liked eating meat and also liked animals, and these two things are going to change. And that's also very interesting to see all these people that fight against eating animals. They actually don't need to fight because it's going to end anyway. But we as a species, we think that we are responsible for all the changes. We take it personally. We believe that we are those who cause the revolutions, but it's not like that. It's the energy pushes us to change, and we can believe, our minds can believe that we are doing the change, but it's not us actually, it's the program. So this is the gate of approach. There are so many things to talk about it, but that's enough for today. And the other beautiful gate, the way of retreat. This is a collective gate, part of the channel of the witness. Active withdrawal and the transformation of weak position into a strength. This is the end. This is one of the stop codons, and this is the stop codon of the human experiential way. We talked a lot about all this energy of experiencing and collecting our memories and collecting things that we see. This is the witness, yes, that goes through life and just collects things, part of the channel of the prodigal, yes, the design of a witness. And when a cycle is ended, and it's interesting to look because the cycle of the year just ended, so we can relate to this now. We need time to retreat and to digest everything that we went through and we took in, because the witness takes in. This is a very, this is a gate from the quarter of civilization, the yin quarter, yes, the yinist quarter, and it takes in, and then it reflects, and only after reflecting what happened in this cycle, this witness can understand what or learn from the experience, and then to share from his memories. This is the voice in the throat that says, I remember. So we are going to have this way of approach and way of retreat both this week, and this is exactly the feeling of the beginning of a new cycle and closing of the old. It comes together. And then another thing that happens, two changes, the nodes move backwards and forwards in their way. It's forward to the fourth line. So you're going to feel this networking, community, friendliness, sexuality, and all this. And also Neptune moves to the sixth line. This sixth line is called purpose. The energy to maintain the family or the friendship is enhanced by recognizing its values. This is a very interesting line, sixth line, sees the big picture, and most of us have issues that connect with family, with our family, and or friendships, and we can look at this and examine these issues from a high point of view, from the roof, from the wise point of view, to see that we got these lessons with a reason. They come with a reason. They come here they come to our lives to mature us, to help us close cycles. We have Uranus in the gate of closing, bringing things to an end. So we have a chance to bring these issues into healthy and correct ending, or to end the cycle of understanding this issue where we are now, because it's always comes again. If we talk about family and friendship, it's all cycles, it will come again. But we can end this cycle of understanding, get the lesson. Neptune is going to leave us soon, so we have this period of time, I think a month, something like this, to really get the present from this benefit from this line that is called purpose. And then tomorrow we are going to experience the channel of the prodigal, a design of a witness. We are going to have the gate of secrets, the gate of the listener in the moon, 13th gate, and together with the Earth, we are going to experience the channel of the witness. And because of Mars, that sits in the gate of innocence, the gate of the spirit of the self, so we are going to feel this universal love too. It's lightened up because of the global conditioning pattern of the channel of the prodigal. And we do not forget that we also have the channel of transformation. And the 19th gate actually is a mirror of the marrying maiden. So we have two tribal gates that both of them seek recognition, looking for the correct partner, want to have the resources, both of them. Just one is splenic and more cool, the other is looking towards the emotional system, but both of them are about connecting, about interaction, about finding the correct partner. So this is very nice. With the witness, strong definition, we can't avoid it, so let us enjoy and experience, and then we can reflect on what we were learning. And then after the gate 13, the moon is going to land in the gate of revolution, the 49th gate, and we are going to have this, both of the tribal channels, the pressure channels that go one to the spleen, the transformation, and the synthesis that goes to the solar plexus. And with Neptune, we have almost the whole stream of sensitivity, a design of being sensitive or not. And those people who have the 40th gate, they're going to have the whole stream, the experience of the whole stream. And of course, we don't forget the gate of crisis, which is lightened up in the solar plexus, and the gate of the spirit abundance, the 55th gate. So, and people with the 6th gate are going to enjoy the sexual energy of the channel of mating. So this is going to be a real tribal celebration with a lot of senses and a lot of touch. Yes, this is the stream of touch and the smell from the transformation. Wow, what a party. And then the last thing that I'm going to mention is the 4th line day, which is going to be very, very 4th line day. In the 30th, we're going to have the sun and the earth in the 4th line, the nodes in the 4th line, and look at Mercury and Venus and Mars, all of them in the 4th line. And very interesting lines we have here. We have the marrying maiden in the 4th line. This is the most mystical line of all the lines of the Rei Ching. It is called enlightenment or endarkenment, and this is about the fuel for transformation that is so strong, and we don't know which forces are going to capture this frequency. It could be forces from the light, it could be forces from the dark, and we just don't know. And because it's Mercury, it will be interesting to notice what will come out of our mouth, what will be, what are we going to talk about? And we are going to talk because it's the day of externalization and networking and friendliness and the need to influence the network. So we will talk and we will listen, and it will be very interesting to see what words would come out of everybody's mouth. Another very interesting line is the 25th line, 25th gate, the gate of innocence in the 4th line. This is about, this is only in an exaltment situation, and this is the line that sees the beauty and the potential rose in every garbage, you know, how do you say that? In every trash, you can see the rose or the gold. Very beautiful line. So we are going to have a very interesting day. We should remember to be attuned and to see what's going on in this day. And of course, we don't forget, we still have the trial and error in the channel of transformation. So the 4th line with the trial and error, very interesting. And to celebrate this end of the quarter of transformation and to celebrate the beginning of our very experiential new heretical transformation year, as I promised, I'm going to talk a little bit about food today. It will be just a little bit. Today, I just want to, you know, we are in this atmosphere of Gate 19 and the need for the resources and the tribal place that food takes there. I mean, food is a very, very important issue in the tribe, very important. And the thing about us and food is that food is the deepest conditioning. We are so conditioned that we have no idea that we are. I mean, for me, the last year showed me the connection between my splenic, my open spleen conditioning to food. The thing that I found that connects these two things is the inability to see how deep the conditionings are. And it's the same thing in the solar plexus, but mine is not open, so I can talk about the spleen. But these are conditioning. The food's conditioning are so deep that we have no idea what is there. And our body, that is the form principle and is the tool to reflect our consciousness, our growing and evolving consciousness, can't continue allowing our consciousness to evolve if it's not being taken care of the way it should be taken care of. Now, I know that most of the people heard and know about PHS, and I'm not talking about PHS. PHS is good and essential and important, but two things. First of all, for PHS, we need an accurate hour. So if we don't have accurate birth hour, we can't know for sure if this is our PHS. But the other thing is that PHS is only guidelines for us, and it is a very important guideline, but it can't really do the work. It can put us on a path, on a trajectory, which is good, and it is about enhancing our connection to our inner authority and digesting life as we should digest. But it's not only about how we eat, it's about what we eat. And the what is even a stronger conditioning than the how, because the how, and especially for people who are deep in the experiment and their mind is involved in the process, it's okay to say, all right, this is the way I need to eat. Let's try to align myself to my PHS. And I see that many people do it and do it successfully. But this is not enough. I mean, I know Ra used to say that when you are practicing your PHS, it doesn't matter what you eat, but I totally don't agree with him on that. And I know that for most of the people that I know, even people with a very strong splenic definition that connects to a motor and to the throat, even these people are sensitive to things that they eat, and their inner authority doesn't approve the idea that we can eat everything. This is not correct. And the cross of planning have brought us this disaster of industrial food that, on the one hand, the cross of planning brought all the possibilities to make our life longer and so-called healthier, but this is just an illusion, because the way the fuel we put in our bodies destroys us. So we are in this place of duality. We ruin our body and then we try to fix it, and of course this thing doesn't allow the temple that we live in to maintain very high and clean frequency. So what I invite you just to start looking at is that what we carry in our body, these conditionings, these conditionings that we actually go through the first 7 year cycle of deconditioning, in order to not to be ruled by the conditioning in our decision-making process and not to live the not-self life. These conditionings in our DNA, a large part of them is food. It is not mental conditioning only, or it is not energetic conditioning. This is physical, materialistic, or I don't know how to say it, conditioning which are matter, which are in our body. And people are carrying overweight, and I'm not talking about huge overweight. I'm talking about everything that doesn't need to be in our body is conditioning. And these things, this realization came to me through this last year, that I was going through this cleansing, that I actually didn't decide mentally that I'm going to do it. My mind all the time wanted it, but I wasn't invited into it, and I couldn't just do it. You can't just do it. It has to be correct, and it has to be the right timing. And then there was one moment that I was invited into this process. And I thought to myself, okay, so I know that I'm a very extremist person, I'm a radical person, but this time I don't want to jump into decisions and ideas about what I'm going to do. I'm just going to start in a small step of drinking juice every morning. Well, I'm not getting now into what I'm doing. I'm just sharing the whole picture. And while my body was getting these juices, immediately it started rejecting things which are not good. And for me, for my health. And it was so strong because I was just witnessing it, because I didn't plan to go radical. And my body took me there because the timing was correct. I was 4.5 years in the experiment, a little bit more than this. I was very radical in my experiment. As you know, I slept alone all these 4.5 years. And I was ready. I was ripe. I was mature enough to feel that I need the next step. And I didn't even know that nutrition is going to be the next step. It just came to me, came to my door. I'm 2-4. So when I began giving my cells the correct food, it's like the deconditioning. Suddenly other things moved. I mean, we can't have both all the time. We need when the cells. I mean, I think it has to do a lot with the 3.5 years in the experiment point of transition, because when we pass these 3.5 years in radical experiment, we are more mature to put to go to the next step, because our frequency, the balance is changing, and now it's not a lot of not self and a little of true self. It's the other way around. Or I don't want to, maybe these words are not the correct, but a lot more cells are deconditioned than not deconditioned. So I think that the timing was very good. I was mature enough to understand that I have this pressure in me to grow, to do something, to change the frequency, but I can't do it just from strategy, authority, and sleeping alone. It's not enough. Something here needs to be changed. And then while beginning this cleansing of my body, my body itself drove me to the next level and to the next level and to the next level. And while it was happening, because there was huge cleansing, then I could see the conditionings. I could witness my relationship with food, which I will share later, but I could see them. This was wow. It was like, when you have an open spleen or an open solar plexus, which is these two centers are very, very strongly conditioned in a very deep way that we don't see it. It's causes us blindness. We can't see our conditioning. It takes a few years until you can see. So it's exactly the same experience I used to have while looking at my spleen and then realizing how I was conditioned through this in a way that I couldn't really put my finger on it for years. So it's the same way about food. And the only thing I want to say before I finish this, and I promise that I will continue in details, but I just want to say that the things that we eat and they are the worst for us. These are the foods that we are addicted to. And some of the foods that we are addicted to are not the classic addictions, but things that we believe that they are good for us and healthy for us. And this I just learned from listening to people that this is their profession. And I just learned, yes, it was a 1-3 year. So I did my investigation and I learned the facts that I built myself a strong foundation of understanding. And then I needed to take the experience on my body, to do this trial and error process in order to see what's correct for me. And of course, all the factors of strategy, authority, sleeping alone, everything is in this process of trial and error, because yes, I had to be invited into the process, and then I had to listen to my inner authority, which is very difficult in physical things to wait for emotional clarity. I'm just learning it now. It's not easy. I made so many mistakes because I wasn't clear if this is good for me, if this is good for me. But that's the way we learn. We don't learn without trial and error, not a thing like that. And today I'm much more connected to this clarity about if to eat this or not to eat this, or even to know that this is not good for me and I'm not mature enough to let it go. I mean, this is a real learning process, and this is a way to get to know our conditionings and the way conditioning work in our body and in our mind. This is a very, very blessed process of letting go of conditioning, because everything that left my body, I know now that it wasn't just, a few kilograms or something. This is not the thing. It's things that were here that I carried. It's a burden. It's something which is not me. It's not me. My frequency can't evolve and can't be purified if I'm carrying all this luggage. And I feel so much lighter, and it is the possibility for much more light to get in and to be radiated. And I just really want to encourage you just to look at it. Don't do anything, but just look at these things, and maybe realization will fall and will appear. And then the next step will be to be invited or to respond or to be pushed into this process of cleansing and opening. It's an eye-opening cleansing process in every dimension. And I promise that I will share more every time a little bit. And I also was asked specific questions. I will answer them. And I just want to say that it's very, very difficult for me to answer privately in writing. People are writing me, and I really appreciate everything. And I want to help, and I want to be of help and be of service, but I can't approach everything personally because it is a lot of time, and I'm very busy. Luckily, I'm doing a lot of things. So I will try to, in these videos, every time to answer one thing and to share another thing, and we will have this process throughout this 3-5 heretical transformation year. I love you. Thank you very much, and have a very approaching and witnessing week. Approach to the new cycle that comes and witness yourself, and we are going to go step by step in a very deep progress process. Love you.